So welcome all, and thank you for joining this session on Matillion for Snowflake. So before we start, just want to give some details around this session or this training. So this training would be a completely a hands-on training or hands-on lab. Um, so as we see each and every concepts or each and every things within Matillion, we'll do a lab practice on that. Okay. Usually, I prefer to do that lab practice, during the training and training only. So since most of us or all of us are like working professionals, right? Um, so it's hard to get the time, right? Uh, so uh, we can try for practicing during the session only. Okay. Our session, so would mostly, be of 1.5 hours daily. That is from Monday to Saturday, and Sunday we can take off, right? And if you have any questions, any concern, you can ask during the session. So don't hesitate to ask the questions, at least at the initial level, because once you understand the basics or these initials for Matillion, that why we're doing this, okay? So it would be easy for you to get started. Okay, so this is just the course outline which we discussed during the demo session as well. Okay. Prerequisite, it is we will just need a Snowflake trial account. So as you guys might have known that Snowflake has a 30 days free trial account. So uh, if you don't have, you can sign up for the Snowflake and create one account. Okay. As of now, we don't need the AWS free tier account since you will be uh, working on our instance, okay, or our application. Okay. Yeah. So this is the first session on like Matillion overview and how to launch. Okay. So the different things. So we'll go and start with this Matillion what and why, and then we'll see the different product offerings, Matillion architecture, and we'll launch and set up the Matillion for Snowflake. Yeah. So Matillion, right? What and why? What and why? So Matillion is an ETL tool, okay, just like any other ETL tool you might have worked upon, right? So this is similar ETL tool which will help you to transform your data, right? So create some pipelines or job, then read the data from one source, joining the different data sources or different tables, then filtering the data and then putting into final tables, right? So this is just an transformation tool, right? Uh, but more on that, okay, it is a cloud-based ETL tool, okay, right? Uh, so it is basically a robust data transformation solution for the cloud, right? So during the demo as well, I have said that it is built for the cloud on the cloud, okay. So all the major data warehouses or all the major cloud data warehouses are supported by the Matillion. Okay, so Matillion supports the Snowflake, Matillion supports the Redshift, Google BigQuery, then Azure Synapse and all. Okay, Matillion has a platform specific product. Okay, so what does this mean is Matillion. So for Snowflake, Matillion has a Matillion for Snowflake as a product. Okay, for Redshift, they have Matillion for Redshift. Okay, for Google BigQuery, they have Matillion for Big BigQuery. Okay, so these are platform specific products that Matillion has provided, and with each platform specific product, let's say for Matillion for Snowflake, okay, uh, uh, the related expressions or related, you can say SQL things, okay, which we can do using the, let's say, Snowflake Workbench. We can do that using a Matillion tool. Okay, so that's it is a platform specific product. So we'll get to know more uh, on what exactly this platform specific product. Okay, the next thing, why Matillion currently, more popular in the market is because of its simple and ELT driven approach. Okay, so Matillion does, an ELT operation on the target data house. So whatever the job that you write within Matillion, okay, so it is usually, if we have seen with earlier ETL tools, we were bringing the data, reading the data from source, then we were bringing that to the memory, right? And then all the transformations were happening within the memory itself. Okay, and during, if we have a large number of data, then we may face the out of memory issues, right? So when we were doing the transforming the data, right? But with Matillion, what exactly happens is Matillion simply push down everything to the target data house, right? So in our case, let's say if we work on Matillion for Snowflake, it will execute the Matillion pipeline on the Snowflake. Okay, so how we will see that later. Okay, then again, it's easy to launch with minimum administration. It is everything in the cloud. Okay, so we don't need to set up anything specific. Okay, it is just that, let's say if we launch that in AWS, then it is just a matter of launching an EC2 machine. Okay, then it is a pay as you go, as you use model. Okay, they are currently providing the per second billing. Okay, so whenever you don't need a Matillion instance, you can simply stop that. Okay, right? It is again simple and quick to build the data integration job, and easy to use connectors to extract and transform the data. Right? So Matillion has various external connectors as well. Okay, so let's say it has connectors to S3, it has connected to Couchbase database, it has connected to any API endpoint, um, it has connected to RDS database or an on-premises database like Oracle, IBM DB2, right? So all this. So from all these sources, Matillion can extract the data and it can load to a Snowflake. Okay, right? Uh, so we'll see more on that. Okay, in upcoming sessions. Okay. Uh, and lastly, Matillion, recently for 2021, so Snowflake has announced Matillion as in their data integration partner for the year. Okay. Uh, so it has very tight integration with Snowflake. So whichever the feature which Snowflake provides, those are supported in Matillion. Okay. So their integrations is really nice there. Okay. So I will hold on for the questions. So let's discuss the different Matillion product offerings, and then we can go towards question if you have anything. Okay. So as I said, uh, Matillion has a platform specific product, right? So what I mean is, now let's say if you see this slide, okay, so we have different sources, like we have an API, application, databases, files, or any NoSQL database, right? So this is what at the source side, and here we have Matillion in the cloud, right, which will help us to load and transform the data, right? And then at the end we have an you can say reporting tool or analytics tool or any AI ML use case, right? And which will analyze the data on the Snowflake, which we have loaded through Matillion. Okay, so but if you see here that Matillion, and it supports this, let's say Snowflake, Redshift, Google BigQuery, Azure, Delta Lakes, and Databricks, right? So these are the different Matillion products. Okay, like for Snowflake, it has Matillion for Snowflake. For Redshift, it has Matillion for Redshift. For Google BigQuery, it has Matillion for Google BigQuery, and similarly for Matillion for Azure, Matillion for Delta Lake, and Databricks. Okay, And when we say that we are launching a Matillion, okay, it is not something that any thick client that we are installing like Talent or any other ETL tool, right, or the Pentaho, right? We don't need to install anything on our laptop. Okay, so it's a GUI based tool, you can say. Okay, and importantly, it is getting launched in the cloud only. Okay, now let's say when we say that we are launching in Matillion, what we are doing in AWS, we're actually launching an EC2 machine. Okay, and on the top of that, the Matillion application is installed. Okay? And that we can use. It is just in GUI based or URL based login, and we can build our data pipelines. Okay, right. Now, when we looked at the Matillion for Snowflake, so what it will do is to perform its ELT operations, right? Okay, and to have the platform specific features. That is why it has created the different products. Okay, so for Matillion for Snowflake, we can do all the things. Uh, we can do any transformations, anything in the Matillion for the Snowflake. Okay, which Snowflake supports, right? Similarly, for Redshift, we can do all the things which Redshift supports, right? So there are differences in the syntaxes for Redshift and Snowflake and Google BigQuery and others, right? Okay, uh, so everything that can be done using a workbench, right? We can do that using a Matillion. Okay, and once the data is there in Snowflake, okay, then we can again use the Matillion to load and transform the data. Okay, right. So maybe I will stop here. If you have any questions, anything you can ask.
Yeah, Nitish, normally you're saying
Mhm,
it is also cloud based tool.
mhm.
So actually, as I know, cloud means we need to log in like one of the URL, right? A
Correct,
portal, for example. So like it is a platform specific for every cloud, as you said.
correct. Right. It is
So
platform specific. Uh, for not every cloud, but for every cloud database or cloud data warehouse. Okay.
that okay, agree. Just actually, for example, cloud means we have different services and all the stuff, right?
Mm-hmm,
Related cloud. For
mm-hmm.
example, as you know, for example, fundamentals of cloud. This is only one URL, by using only single Metallion URL will be able to log in.
Correct, correct. Right.
So all the cloud services can be getting here in this Metallion itself.
Not all, but the things which are supported by Matillion. Okay, so let's say if you launch the Matillion for Snowflake in AWS, so there are different AWS cloud services which Matillion can connect to, right? So Matillion can connect to S3, it can connect to SNS, it can connect to SQS, then CloudWatch. Okay, so like these few of the services which will that are helpful for you for your ETL jobs. Okay, right. So those are supported by the Matillion.
Yeah, agree. Normally, kind of, for example, installing a database and other stuff are cloud fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, can be taken care by Metallion itself.
Not installing the database, let's say in AWS RDS, right? So it is not something which Matillion built for, right? So if you see, Matillion is an ETL tool, right? So which every ETL tool that you have worked upon, its basic job, if you see, is to pull the data from source, store it in some staging area, then transform it and load it into final data mart tables or any other tables, right? So it's an ETL tool, right? So even if you work with Informatica, does Informatica provide you an option to install any database? No,
Yeah, agree. Normal
right?
tool actually, like you are saying cloud based tool.
It
So
is a
just I'm
cloud
asking that
based
is.
because, yeah, it is a cloud based because it is launched and it is managed within the cloud. Okay, nothing is on premises. Okay, right?
Agree. Like you are saying, cloud-based tool, like cloud facilities can be providing by Matillion or not. Like
Yes,
actually, it is.
yes, yes. So not everything is supported, right? So if, as you said, if you want to launch a database in AWS, okay, Matillion can't do that, right? What you will have to do, what Matillion is built for is, let's say, if you install or if you launch an RDS database in AWS and you have some data there, Matillion can connect to RDS database and pull the data, okay, right? So that is what it is the so it can pull the data from on-premises databases as well as from the AWS RDS database as well. Okay, and why when I'm saying that it is built in the cloud, so what I mean is it is launched in the cloud itself. Okay, it is managed within the cloud itself, right? It is just an URL based tool. Okay, and it can support the various cloud services. Okay, right? But if you want to install a database within the cloud, that Matillion is not built for, right? It is built for the ETL purpose. I hope that makes you clear.
Okay, let's see. Like once
Yes,
we log in into system, then can
correct,
understand
correct.
maybe.
Yes, yes, more. That is what. I mean, see, it is pretty simple, right? If you just, thought and like generic purpose of Matillion, right? It is an ETL tool, right? Okay,
Agree,
right?
Nitesh. I
Yeah,
mean, actually, like previously ETL, right? After that, cloud came into the market. Okay,
correct,
now Matillion came. So
correct,
normally after ETL, as I know, like all the cloud fundamentals based on cloud, all the basic services, then we
correct.
can like by
We can
extracting
use
data
that.
from,
We can
we
use
can
those
use that.
services. Yes.
We can like normally like what I mean, like based on like ETL functionality can be done by using clouds, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So let's say usually earlier if you see the client or the business, I mean, one of the use case was that clients used to put their files on SFTP server, right? Like their FTP server, SFTP server, and we used to read from that by connecting that. Now with the cloud, what do they prefer is to store their file on S3 bucket, okay? And then they want us that file to be loaded in Snowflake, let's say on daily basis. Okay, so there we can use Matillion. Okay, so what we can do is we can connect to S3 where let's say client have put our file and we can load that file from S3 to Snowflake. Okay, that is how it can use it has an integration with the multiple uh, you can say the services in the cloud.
Yeah. One question I did not understand, Nitin.
Mhm.
Actually, cloud, like every cloud providing ETL functionality. Is it right or wrong? For
Yes,
example,
most of
AWS.
this,
Okay.
yeah.
AWS is providing ETL service.
Hmm.
Google like GCP also providing ETL service. Azure also providing ETL service. Right?
Right, yeah,
Okay. So what is the difference between Matillion? Like you are saying Matillion is cloud-based tool.
correct,
Like already like by using ETL, that also latest like cloud came recently, right? So by using cloud, we can reach ETL functionality. For example,
correct,
like
correct.
what is the main advantage of Matillion compared to cloud ETL functionality?
Right, yeah. I mean, I would say that's a really good question. Um, so if you see with the other ETL tools, right, the difference which Matillion has or the advantage which Matillion has, like it has various connectors, okay, with the external sources, and it has, very, you can say, supporting components. Okay. Now, with let's say AWS ETL tools, I think Glue, right? Okay. So that is not, that much feasible, or it cannot handle a kind of a whole ETL process or whole ETL, you can say, environment or the job. Okay. And again, so to connect to external world, okay, that is not, very flexible when you use an other ETL or other, you can say, a cloud-based, or cloud providers tool, right? Let's say AWS provide the AWS Glue. Okay, that is not very feasible, right? And again, right, does AWS Glue provides you ability to connect to Snowflake? No, right? So, and it has, if you see, if once we go ahead, right, you would see that it has, very flexible to use, you can say, connectors. Okay, so it can easily, connect to any API endpoint and it can bring the data, right? Okay, so it
So
has,
you mean
yeah.
to, you mean to say like normally not able to connect by using cloud, one cloud to another cloud, right?
Hmm.
So it is possible, right? For example, I am using Azure ADF for ETL functionality. I can connecting by using Azure ADF. Then I can implement service like I can load or data into other cloud. Let's say AWS.
Hmm.
Is it right? Right? Like every another cloud to cloud possible,
No,
right?
no, 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 no,
Loading data.
no, 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 that is not possible. That is not possible. But the way it has the integration, right, with the Snowflake and Redshift and Google BigQuery, that matters. Okay, it is something, it will, Matillion is, providing you the end-to-end ETL capabilities. Okay, so all the things, right? Glue and those are just in orchestrating the your flows and job, right? So you still, yeah, you can write the queries and everything, there. Okay, so the benefit, I mean, definitely you will understand that later, but the benefit is it's an, ELT tool, right? It is on the cloud, okay, and it supports various cloud data warehouse providers, right? Okay, right, and it has connectors to various sources. Okay, it is just have the built-in connectors. We just need to drag and drop and set up the configuration, and that's it. That will help us to bring the data from that source to Snowflake. Okay, right?
Yeah, understood, Nitin. Like
Yeah, yeah.
as you said, other ETL cloud, other ETL clouds are not supporting one cloud to other another cloud. That is
Mhm.
what you mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Only by using Matillion, like we can connect source as a AWS cloud, target as a Snowflake, as you said,
Yes, yes.
and
We can
also
connect,
and
yeah,
also
Snowflake, Redshift. So, but for that you will have to get the different, platform dependent products.
that is fine. Like
Yeah.
just that is fine. Just I'm like can be useful. Like can be done. Like
Yes.
source as a Azure, for example, source as a Azure, and target as a like different GCP by using Matillion.
No, no. So that is direct, as I said, right? So direct connectivity is not possible. Right? But yeah, using Python and all, you can do that. So there is an option.
Okay. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
like we can load one data from one cloud to another cloud. Is it right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
But
So, but
which is not possible. You mean to
yes.
say which is not possible other another cloud service. Example like Azure, like our AWS.
Hmm.
Azure to AWS we cannot load data. But you are saying without Matillion.
No, no, it is not the case. I mean, even if you use the glue, right? So I have not, like, used that, glue and any other tool. Uh, uh, so I'm not sure on that whether that is possible or not. Okay, mostly
That is
not.
what my question, Nitin.
Yeah,
Nitin. That
yeah.
is Nitesh. That is what my question actually. Why came Matillion? Like for example, if it is possible, from one cloud to other cloud. So Matillion came in between now. By
No, but
using Matillion only,
yes, yes, yeah. But like, do you use an ETL tool, uh, you know, to transform data to load data from one cloud to other cloud, right? Do you see, I mean, do you see like what is the main purpose of ETL tools, right? Just to make an data available in our final data warehouse and make the data available for our businesses, right? Correct.
yeah, only
So
transformation of data. Data,
yes,
I can
yes,
say by using
loading.
ETL.
That is what, right? So, loading the data into Snowflake and then again transforming the data and loading that in final data mart tables, right? And making the data available
One,
for next process. Okay.
yeah,
So,
agree.
so the tools, ETL tools are not built anywhere to, pass the data from one cloud to another cloud, right? So there are Python
Yeah,
components or Python connectors or Python libraries available to do that, right? Okay. We need to understand that what is the purpose of this tool, right? Correct.
yeah, got it, Nitin.
Yeah.
In that case, like as I said, same thing. Yeah, I agree. Like let's see, like actually,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You will definitely get more and more understanding on the Matillion tool. Okay, but as of now, till this, you can say whatever we discuss, just you can understand that it is an ELT tool. Okay, it is managed in the cloud and it has connectors to various sources, and it can connect to them and load the data to Snowflake, and it can transform the data as well within the Snowflake. Okay. So the main purpose is to manage and maintain our cloud data warehouse. Like let's say if we have Snowflake, right, we'll load it to Snowflake. If we have Amazon Redshift, we'll load it to Amazon Redshift, right? The way, right? So we have an Oracle data warehouse, IBM Netezza data warehouse. It is the same, and to populate the data within those on-premises data warehouse, right? We were using some ETL tool, correct? It is, you can say, similar as of now conceptually, that it is an ELT tool which will help you to build your data warehouses, your data marts, data lakes, and everything.
That functionality are normally like achieving ETL functionality. Agree.
Hmm. Right, exactly, yeah. So that cloud to cloud, I don't think that that Matillion is or any other ETL tool is built for that, but still we can achieve that functionality. Okay, needed. Yeah. So any other question?
Yeah, Nitin, this is Ramana.
Yeah, Ramana.
Yeah. So, as we said, we can extract data from different source systems, like whether it could be on-premise database or it could be a,
Cloud
um,
database.
yeah, cloud-hosted database.
Hmm.
So, while extracting from on-premise database, can we expect the same performance? Like because when we extract it from our cloud-hosted database, it can enhance the compute resources while extracting. So, how can we expect the same kind of performance while extracting from on-premise database?
Yes, yes. So it's all dependent on your, network packets or network bandwidth and the kind of query that you have written to extract your data. Okay, if it's one-to-one, that is single query, and let's say if we are using Oracle, so let's say proper indexes have been created there, so that would be a faster, you can say. Okay, and so loading to Snowflake from that Oracle, so
Mhm.
it's pretty fast. Okay, so but how does it does internally? So I will let you know in coming sessions.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Nitin, Ramesh here.
yeah.
Looking, sorry, I joined late, but I'm trying to understand from your product offerings how we schedule the medallion jobs in the cloud.
Okay. Um. Uh, okay. Yes, yes, yes. So so what? So Matillion, has its internal scheduler. Okay, so Matillion offers its internal scheduler, and we can schedule the job there. Okay, so there is no external scheduler needed like Control LM and TOLE and all, right? The way we schedule the job in schedule our Informatica job, so that is not needed. Having said that, you can call these jobs from some external world. Let's say you can call this job from Unix or Bash and something like that. Okay, clear?
Yeah, you mean to say that the way we have Unix and when you schedule for Informatica, so we call it from Unix and shell script. So the
Yes.
similar way we can call these jobs
Yes,
in a
we can call, but the clients prefer to use the Matillion built-in scheduler, right? Was see, I mean, if they have provided this scheduler, right? Why to use the external one? Okay.
okay. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
assume that I know Matillion schedule can be triggered only the Matillion jobs, right? So what about let's say example, I have data in my cloud local folder like S3 or blob or
Uh-huh.
maybe in the local. So I
Mhm.
need something to move from my local or
Correct.
to to an environment, right? The Snowflake is ready to handle to read my organization network drive or Azure blob storage, the landing area. Is
Yes, yes.
Medallion can pick up?
Yes, yeah. Matillion can read the data from, let's say, AWS S3 bucket, okay, and it can, read that file and push it to Snowflake. It can do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
And since you're joining late, so on the Matillion product offerings, so usually, right, so as I said earlier as well, so it's an ETL tool, right? But it is a kind of a platform specific product, okay, that Matillion offers. So for Snowflake, let's say your cloud data warehouse is a Snowflake, right? Then you need to use the Matillion for Snowflake product, okay? If your tag, if your cloud data warehouse is a Redshift, then you need to use the Matillion for Redshift product, okay? Like that. Okay, because so usually we decide, right, what is our data warehouse, right? Whether it's an Oracle, it's an our target is an IBM Netezza or anything else, right? The same way, right? So we know that we are going to build our cloud enterprise level data warehouse in a Snowflake cloud data warehouse, right? So based on that, I need to select a Matillion for Snowflake product. Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
I have concern here. It may work for specific BAUs. Let's say I'm working for an MNC
Hmm.
where I have to provide the products to different things, right? So at present, right, I know people go with Azure or AWS depends upon the pricing on that year. So having a specific medallion just for Snowflake,
Hmm.
it works only in the architecture of where we use Snowflake as a target. So next
Correct.
year, if Snowflake improves, I know it's all basing on the billing and pricing. Initially, everyone will give you a sweet price, but later on, it may not be. So the investment might be dead, right? If I take only Snowflake or Meta, I mean everything Snowflake architecture. If I
Uh,
decide to go to AWS and Redshift,
yes.
I don't have the choice. Then it's a dead investment. The way it's looking at.
Correct. Right. Yeah. Yeah, so if you see, right, I mean, if you see the whole picture, right, it is the case with the on-premises database as well, right? Let's say initially you come up with IBM Netezza, okay, and let's say after an year they have increased the price, and then you have decided to move on to Oracle, right? And your jobs were in, let's say, in talent, right? So what you do is you would end up in writing those jobs again, right? And having target as an oracle. Okay, that is the one use case. Still, yes, let's say talent that provides you an per year billing, right? They will still charge you for an year, right? Okay. Now, the third thing, right? Why it will not happen? So if you see, uh, you know, when enterprise chooses any database or any cloud data warehouse, right? It's not usually for an year. Okay, so these are the vendor selection, right, or the data warehouse selection or the partner selection is usually they select by keep in mind the futuristic approach. Okay, right. So during this selection process, right, so you will do many POCs on different database, like whether it's Snowflake is a uh, you know good fit for my for our use case, or it is in Redshift which is a good fit, or it is in Google BigQuery which is a good fit, right? And now if you see, organization want to reduce their data silos, right? So earlier what used to happen, right, within an individual team or individual department, right? So they used to have their own databases, right? So one team has an Oracle data warehouse, another has an Netezza data warehouse. Now the organizations are, trying to, centralize the things, right? They just want to remove the data duplicacy, and they don't want to, work in a data silos, right? So it is not something that, that the management team has selected Snowflake, and after 6 months or 1 year they will select another thing. No, that is not possible. Okay, even if that is possible, right? What you will do is you will shut down your Matillion for Snowflake instance, and you will start a new instance for Matillion for Redshift. Okay, but that usually doesn't happen, right? You see, so we have been working on, let's say, on Oracle databases or data warehouse, right? And client maintains that for an 5 years, 10 years period, right? Yeah, clear?
Yeah, Nitin.
Yeah.
The only challenge is right now everything is on cloud. It's in a like in digitalization and cost saving. People are going to cloud, so
Yes,
they're
correct.
not loyal to any products there. Whoever offers cheaper security, they are going with the cloud products.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I will let you know how it is secure. So in coming slide, uh, and yeah, let's see there first. Okay. Now, but yeah, so don't assume that, I have a Snowflake, Matlab for Snowflake product, then how can you, let's say tomorrow, if someone shifts to Redshift and all, right? This usually don't happen, right? So our, platform owner, uh, or the higher level management, they always foresee in the future, right? And they have their plans, right? Okay. And nowadays, if you see, the most of the companies, which has their migration project, okay, from on-premises data warehouse to a cloud data warehouse. Let's say Snowflake, okay. And another thing I just missed to tell you is, see, now here we have Matillion for Snowflake, Matillion for Redshift, Matillion for Google BigQuery, okay. But now here, why we are preferring Matillion for Snowflake, okay. Now if you see, Matillion for Redshift. Okay, now if you see like Matillion for Snowflake, okay, it can be launched on various cloud data warehouse provider. Okay, sorry, it's so we can launch the Matillion for Snowflake on various cloud providers, right? We can launch Matillion for Snowflake on AWS, on GCP, on Azure. Okay, we can launch on in Delta Lake and Databricks as well. Okay, so irrespective, like let's say if some of the organization has an AWS as in their cloud provider, right? They can launch the Matillion in AWS, right? Matillion for Snowflake, and even the Matillion for Snowflake can be launched in the GCP as well. Okay, now why Matillion for Snowflake is so popular? That is because now if you want to launch Matillion for Redshift, okay, you can launch that only within an AWS. You cannot launch that Matillion for Redshift in GCP or in Microsoft Cloud or Azure. Okay, that is because if you see the AWS, GCP, and Azure, those are cloud competitors, right? Okay, so they don't allow the Matillion for Google BigQuery to be launched in AWS. No. So if you want to use an Google BigQuery as a cloud data warehouse, you'll have to launch your Matillion in the GCP cloud. Similarly, if you want to use Matillion for Redshift, you will have to launch your Matillion in an AWS cloud environment. However, if you see the Snowflake is not a competitor for AWS or GCP or an Azure, right? It is not. It is a cloud provider. sorry, it is a cloud data warehouse provider, right? That is why Matillion for Snowflake can be launched either in AWS or in GCP or in Azure. Okay, so that is the flexibility when you use your Snowflake as a cloud data warehouse, and when you launch a Matillion for Snowflake, you can launch in either of these three cloud data warehouse, right? These are like major cloud providers, right, in the market. So we can launch that. But Matillion for Redshift, you will need to launch only in AWS. Matillion for Google BigQuery, you will need to launch only in GCP.
In that case, actually, like any client needs, actually, the client already having, for example, Azure as a cloud. So if you
Mhm.
want to go for like Snowflake or Matillion, you need to go separately.
Yes, so if they are using Microsoft cloud providers, okay, then you can launch the, I mean, see, if that client cloud partner is Microsoft Azure, okay, then you can launch, and their cloud data warehouse is a Snowflake that they have selected, then you can launch Matillion for Snowflake in Azure, Microsoft Azure cloud. Okay.
Yeah, that is what I mean. Actually,
Yeah.
like already.
Hello, am I audible, guys?
Yeah, you are audible. I think somehow
Yeah.
Sudha lost. We lost Sudha voice.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's go towards next part and see, like, using, in 1 or 2 sessions, you will get more and more clarity about this Matillion. Okay.
Yeah, fine, fine.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's look at the Matillion architecture. Okay, so as I said, specifically we are here launching a Matillion for Snowflake, right? And this is like very popular, right? Currently, believe me, like, wherever there is a Snowflake as a cloud data house, okay, the clients or businesses are preferring Matillion for Snowflake tool. Okay, obviously there are other tools like Talent or any other tool that can connect to Snowflake. Okay, but it's due to its easiness of launching, easiness in using or building the pipelines, and because of its ELT operations, the client and businesses are preferring Matillion for Snowflake when they have the Snowflake as a cloud data warehouse, right? And like, so Snowflake currently is capturing market, okay, and wherever there is a Snowflake, there is a Matillion, okay. So yeah. So now Matillion architecture. So it's very important to understand this Matillion architecture, right? So what exactly it is doing. So as I said, that Matillion is an cloud-based ETL tool. So that what does that mean is, it is just, if you want to log in, it is just based on one IP address, or based on one URL, we can log in that. Okay, it is not necessary to install any thick client on your laptop and then start the way we do for Talent and others, right? Okay, that is not in need. Okay. Now, if you see, this is a Matlin architecture, which is getting launched in an AWS environment, AWS cloud environment. Okay, and it is for the Matlin for Snowflake. Okay. Now, when I was saying that, uh, we are working on Matillion, or we are logged into Matillion. Okay, so Matillion is actually running on the top of one EC2 machine. Okay, so if you are aware about this cloud, AWS, cloud services, like, so what it has, if you see, it has one VPC, okay, and within that VPC we have one public subnet, and within that public subnet we are launching one EC2 machine where my Matillion is installed, or where my Matillion is running. Okay, so here within an VPC, there is a public subnet, and there we are launching an M4 EC2 machine, right? We know, right? So AWS has different EC2 machines, right? It has T2 medium, M5, M4, M5 large machine, extra large machines, then R type of instances, right? R5 and everything, right? So here, uh, within an VPC, there is a public subnet, and there is an M4 is M4, let's say, machine, M4 type of machine, which is there, and on the top of that, our Matillion is running. Okay, right? And then to store to so Matillion stores its internal metadata within a PostgreSQL RDS database. Okay, so if you see here, within a different the private subnets, there are two database which gets launched. Okay, when we launch in Matillion, automatically these two databases gets launched. Okay, one is in one availability zone, and second is in kind of second availability zone. Okay, these are kind of master and slave. It is just to have a backup purpose. Okay, so all the metadata which Matillion stores internally for its purpose, it is getting stored in a Postgres SQL RDS database. Okay, right, and it has a connectivity from this, right? And then once you launch the Matillion within VPC or within a public subnet, right, it can connect to multiple integrations, right? So if you see here, there are more and more integrations which it has providing. Okay, it can connect to MongoDB, Salesforce. It can connect to MySQL databases. It can connect to Facebook, Twitter, Excel sheets, and everything. Okay, so it has different connectors that Matillion has provided. Okay, and once you launch Matillion, or once you launch this EC2 machine, right, now the only matter to use this is you just need to log into that IP or log into that URL, right? So so the multiple users can connect to this Matillion instance now. Okay, so let's say if we have a team of 10 people, it is not something that they will install anything on their laptop. Okay, all 10 members will logged in to the same URL which Matillion has provided, or which AWS has provided, let's say. Okay, so everyone will log into the same URL, right? The way we log into our websites and all, correct? Then it has CloudWatch logging, then it can connect to AWS S3, right? As we were saying, and it can pull the data. It can use other AWS services, right? As I think I think Ramna had asked, and it can finally connect to Snowflake. Okay, so it is in kind of a single EC2 machine of Matillion ETL, right? So it uses the RDS database to store its internal metadata, and it can connect with different AWS services, right? And varieties of integrations are available here. Okay, so it has the when I say integrations are available, those are just in components which are available within Matillion. Okay, clear? Now, before I proceed to the Matillion architecture for a clustered instance, okay, let's launch the Matillion, and then you will understand more on this part. Okay, so now as I said that we are using our AWS as a cloud provider, and we need to launch in Matillion for Snowflake there. Okay, so let's get started. Now, uh, for launching, so what there are, so earlier, what used to happen is, let's say if you not need to launch the Matillion within an AWS environment. Okay, so as you know that AWS has its marketplace, right, where the different AMIs are listed, correct? So earlier there was a way to launch the Matillion for AWS marketplace, okay, but now Matillion has provided their own, you can say UI or own URL from where you can log in and you can launch your Matillion instances. Okay, so you will see all of your instances within your organization which are launched. Okay, so we will use the Matillion hub to launch an Matillion for Snowflake, you can say instance. Okay, now but yeah, just remember that we are going to launch that in AWS environment, like within an VPC, within a public subnet. And when I'm saying that when I'm launching an Matillion, I'm actually launching an EC2 machine. Okay, so let's get started. So if you go to hub.matillion.com, okay, then you will need to log in and log in using your organization email. Okay, and there usually these stuffs are done by the admin who manages your Matillion, or who manages your Matillion instances for your enterprise. Okay, so this is an you can say Matillion hub. Okay, from where you can launch your Matillion, we can say instances. Okay, so I'm just logged into that. Yeah, so if you see, this is how it will look like. It is just has a billing product, Matillion data loader. If you see here, we have that switch organization. If you want to log into different organization, right? So when I say organization, for every company, they maintain a single Matillion hub account, right? So if I'm working for a company ABC, so in Matillion, I will create the one account for my ABC organization. Okay, right? Yeah. Yeah. So if you see, this is a Matillion hub, okay, where we can see and manage our Matillion ETL instances. Okay. Uh, so Matillion initially provides you a 14 days free trial, okay, where you can try out your things on your own, and after this 14 days trial, you will be charged as per your billing plan. Okay, so now let's say I have these two instances. Okay, if you see these instances, this is the cloud providers, this is the cloud data warehouse, which is Snowflake, right? And these are the instance status and consumptions if you want to see. Okay. Now, once you go to Matillion Hub, now here what we're trying to do is we're trying to launch an Matillion instance. Okay. So to do that, what we will do is, if you see here, add instance option. Okay. So I'm clicking here, add instance. Now, if you see, the next screen is who is your cloud provider, right? Okay. Whether it's an AWS, Google Cloud, and or Azure. Okay. Right. So on Matillion Hub, the Google Cloud thing is coming. Okay. But if you go to Google some marketplace on GCP, you will be able to launch from there as well. Okay. Uh, now I need to launch my Matillion in AWS, right? So I will select that. Correct. Now it gives you like which all products are available on in AWS to be launched, right? So as I said, if you come here, Matillion has a platform dependent product, so Matillion for Snowflake, Matillion for Redshift. And as I said earlier, you cannot launch the Matillion for Google BigQuery in an AWS environment. Okay, but you can launch an Matillion for Snowflake either in GCP or Azure or AWS or any other major cloud provider, right? Because Snowflake is a not cloud competitor to all these, right? That is why it is showing you whether your cloud data platform or a cloud data warehouse, whether it's a Snowflake or Redshift or Delta Lake. If you launch Delta Lake, the Matillion for Delta Lake will get launched. If you launch Matillion, if your cloud data warehouse is a Redshift, then you will select Amazon Redshift. And now since let's say our cloud data warehouse is a Snowflake, I will select this. Okay, right. So I will come that to again. Okay. So let's say now instead of AWS, if I say my cloud provider is an Azure, right? Then if you see here now that Amazon Redshift is not available. Okay, because that Redshift data warehouse, right? So we cannot launch Matillion for Redshift in an Azure platform, on an Azure platform. And similarly, the way it has Synapse, so if you select your AWS as cloud data warehouse, it will not have the Synapse as an your target database. Okay. So as of now, what I'm doing, I'm selecting my cloud provider as AWS. Then once I select AWS, I will get all of the, so then I need to select which is my cloud data warehouse, right? Okay. So, uh, so I can launch Matillion for Snowflake, Matillion for Redshift, or Matillion ETL for Delta Lake because the AWS supports these three when you launch an AWS. If you have Synapse, then what you will do, you will have to launch that on Microsoft Azure and then select the Synapse here. Okay, but if you see the observe the Snowflake and Delta Lake, like why is the Snowflake is more popular? Because it can be launched on any of the cloud provider platform. Okay, so Matillion for Snowflake can be launched on AWS, Azure, and GCP. I'm selecting AWS, I'm selecting Snowflake. Now here, how do you want to deliver the Matillion ETL, right? So as I said, Amazon provide the AMI, that is Amazon Machine Image, right? These are kind of an EC2 machines, right? Or built-in images that we can use. And another way is the cloud formation template. Okay. Now usually in organization, what will happen is usually your cloud team will help you to set up this. Okay. Right? Because if you see in nowadays in each and every organization, the way earlier we were having networking teams and all, right? Or Unix admins and all. So nowadays in every organization which uses the cloud, they have their cloud team as well. Okay, so definitely in your organization you will have, let's say, AWS cloud team or the cloud team which will manage your all AWS services, right? So they will help you to launch these instances, okay, using a cloud formation template, that is CFT, or using an Amazon Machine Image, right? So for now, what we can do, we can just select an AMI, right? Now it says that you will be redirected to AWS, right? Because there we need to launch that, right? So I had selected this AWS. Then my target or my cloud data warehouse is in Snowflake, and then I'm selecting AMI, that is an Amazon Machine Image, and continue in AWS. Right? So definitely it will ask you for login, but since I was already logged in, that's why it did not ask me for this login. Okay. Now, if you see here, there are multiple versions, software versions you can say. Those are provided, right, with the different versions. So Matillion ETL for Snowflake, AMI 1.50.7, 1.51, 1.53, 1.55, and the different AMIs are also available, right? So here it is as good as same as launching an EC2 machine. Okay, as good as same. Okay, now here I just need to select which AMI or which AMI I need to launch. Okay, so let's say I'm selecting this is a stable version, so I'm selecting 1.53.8. So you can see the different details here, right? This is Matillion ETL for Snowflake AMI. This is an AMI ID, right? When was it got created, right? It is x64 machine, right? It is an Linux or Unix based machine, right? Okay. So what I did earlier, I went to Matillion Hub. I selected my cloud provider, which is AWS. Then I selected my cloud data warehouse, which is my Snowflake, because I need to build my data warehouse on Snowflake. And then I'm selecting this AMI configurations, right? So I'm selecting this AMI, and then I just need to click on launch. Okay. Now here I can select which type of machine or which type of EC2 machine I need to launch. Okay, right? So though it is possible to change this machine. Let's say so for now, if we select T2 micro, we can change it to some T2 medium or T2 large as well. Okay, that's not a problem. So here I'm selecting, let's say, T2 micro. It will have one CPU, 1 GB of memory, and EBS as an internal storage and all. Okay, right? Now I'm selecting configuration details. Okay. Now here, if you see, these are all the configurations that we need to set. Okay. As I was saying earlier that, now this is an VPC, then this is an subnet. Okay. That we need to select. Now, if we come back here, okay, what we were telling is the same thing, right? So we were launching here an EC2 machine within an VPC, and within that we have an public subnet, and within public subnet we're actually launching our EC2 machine. Okay, right? So if you see here, I need to select VPC. So this is my default VPC. I can select any subnet, okay, within which I need to launch my instance. So I can keep default as well. Okay, and now so as you must have aware about this IAM role, right? So we can select any IAM role to be attached to our EC2 machine. Okay, so I have one already created, so I can select that. Or if you want to see that how do we do that, let's see. So what I can do, if I don't have any this IAM role created, then I can click on this create new IAM role. Okay, right? So the way we have in Snowflake, right? So we create a role in Snowflake, then we attach some permission, or we provide some permission to that role, and then we attach that role to a Snowflake user, right? It is same thing happening here, right? Here we are launching an EC2 machine, right? So which all permissions that EC2 should have, that we're assigning through the role. Okay, so here I'm creating one new role in AWS, right? That is called IAM role. Okay, so I can select create role. Okay, and now I need to assign that role for EC2, right? So I can select other services as well. So I will select EC2 as a common role and next as a permission, right? And now, if you know, I mean, AWS, right, this role is something, now we are attaching the some permission to this, right? Like say, if I select this, what this mean that the role which I am creating, it will have access for the Alexa for Business full access. Okay, like that. Okay. Similarly, if I select any other thing, right? Let's say um, DynamoDB access, right? So this role will have an access to DynamoDB. Okay, so for now I can select this, but now let's create a policy for this. Okay, so policy is something where we will define our you can say permissions, right? So there are different permission we can define for our role, anything whatever we need, right? And remember, this role we are going to attach to that EC2 machine, right, where actually our Matillion is running. Okay, now let me select this. Let's say my this Matillion or my this role needs an access on S3. So what I will do, I will select S3 and let's say it need access on, let's say list, read, and um, let's say write as well. Okay, so I will, what I'm doing here, I'm giving some permission to that role, and at the end I will attach that role to that EC2 machine. Okay, then let's say for now I'm just doing resources, resources, let's say all. Okay, um, let's say if I need to add another AWS service which that role should have access to, let's say I need to have access to SNS. I can select SNS, and in SNS let's say it should have access to list and read. Okay, and here let's say all resources. Okay, so this is how I'm just creating one one policy which will have permission on S3 and SNS, and at then I will attach this policy to my role. Okay, so I'm adding just few tags here. Owner, let's say Matillion review, and here I'm giving some name. There's policy test, PL test, that is policy test. Okay, so it is the same. Okay, I'm just giving this S3 and SNS permission to my policy. Okay, and here I'm creating a policy. Okay, now if I go back to my IAM, okay, I will just refresh it here where I was creating an IAM role, and I'm just, if you search for our policy, this one we had created at PL-test. So I'm selecting that. That means I am attaching this policy to the role which I'm creating now. Okay, so I'm just doing next. So these are just tags, and next review, and this is the role name. Okay, so I'm giving role test, RL test, let's say. Okay, this is my role I'm created, right? So I have created a role here. Now what does this mean is this role it has access, role test, it has access to the S3 and SNS. Okay, and how did we provide the access? With the help of policy. So we have created a policy. Within that policy we have added the S3 and SNS privileges, and then we have attached this policy to this role. Okay, so my role is RL test, right? Now again, if I go back to my launch wizard, okay, right, here if I just do refresh, you see that RL test is available, right? This is the role that we created. Okay, as of now, let's say I'm attaching this RL MTL EC2. Okay, so you can attach or you can give permission to any AWS service, okay, which you need. If you again need CloudWatch thing, you can give it. If you need permission to list RDS, you can give permission the RDS listing to this IAM rule. Okay, right? And the rest we can just keep as it is, and this next we need to add storage. But yeah, as of now, any question here?
Yeah, like can you go like in detail, like steps by like what is the purpose and clearly like that?
On this screen or before this?
Yeah, before like after logging also, right? What is the purpose? How each related? Actually, like new for everything, right?
Correct, correct. Okay, okay. Let me cancel this. Okay. Uh, so that is what I was explaining, right? So if you see, okay, so I'm going to my, so if I need to launch Matillion UI or Matillion application, I need to go to my Matillion Hub. Okay, right? So once I logged in to Matillion Hub, okay, I can, let's say, go to billing and dashboard. Okay, it is the same. And here we need to do an add instance.
Yeah, that is what actually like. For example, you clicked on billing. Billing
Mhm.
means like what purpose it has to go, and why should we use in Matillion like that? Just kind of
Yes,
explanation.
yes, yeah. So I will explain that these things later. I explain that here. What I was explaining is you is how to launch the Matillion, right? Usually, let's say if you use, let's say, any thick line tool, right? What you do, you download that file from their site, correct? And then you right click and install it, right? And that will get installed on your laptop, correct? But here, if you need to launch a Matillion instance, you need to launch it to Matillion Hub. Okay, so let's launch an instance first, and then I will explain all these, basics of all these plans, which all plan we should select and all. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So since this just a day one, so like just please bear with me. So as we progress, right? So we'll get to know more and more details. Okay. Uh, so yes. So here now we need to launch a Matillion instance, right? So I will go to Matillion Hub and just click on Add Instance, right? Now, definitely you will know that which cloud provider you have partnered with, right? So definitely you can select whichever the cloud provider is selected by your organization. Okay. Again, currently in organization they don't select a single cloud provider, but they have their multi cloud strategy as well. Okay. Now let's say we need to launch our Matillion in AWS. So I'm selecting AWS. Now then, which is your cloud data platform, right? So I'm selecting a Snowflake, right? For this because my cloud data house is Snowflake. Okay. Yeah. Any question till this? Or any confusion here? Why Snowflake? Why only AWS?
Yeah, why Snowflake there?
Yeah, because my data house is Snowflake, right?
That is
My
default.
yes. No. We can select if you have a Redshift, you will select Redshift. If your data warehouse is a Delta Lake, you will select Delta Lake, right? So kind of a
No.
target you are selecting here.
Okay, as you said, Snowflake could be a database, cloud
Hmm.
database. So we have logged into Matillion.
Hmm.
Okay, like you're selecting why Snowflake like here.
Yes, exactly. So that is what, right, which we discussed that Matillion has a platform dependent product, right? So if you need or if your cloud data warehouse is a Snowflake, right, you will need to launch Matillion for Snowflake, right? If your cloud data warehouse is Redshift, you will need to launch, Matillion for Redshift. Okay, that is what it is asking, like which cloud platform is you're trying to built in. Okay, so here we need to select Snowflake. If you select this, we'll get the Matillion for Snowflake AMI in AWS, right? Okay, so if you select this Amazon Redshift, if you select this, if you continue here, right? Okay, you see here you will get Matillion ETL for Redshift AMI. Earlier it was Matillion ETL for Snowflake ones, right? So these are the versions available or softwares available. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. So if you again come back to Matillion Hub, so what I will do, I will just log in here. Okay. And now let's say I need to launch a new Matillion instance. Okay, I'm selecting my cloud provider as AWS, my cloud platform as a Snowflake because my that is my data warehouse. Okay, I'm selecting through AMI and then I'm going launching into AWS, right? So here let's say this is a stable version that I'm launching 1.23.8 now, right? I'm selecting the T2 micro machine. Okay, now as I said, VPC subnet, right? As we see here, when we are selecting, going through this Matillion architecture. So Matillion, when we are saying that we're launching a Matillion, we're launching an EC2 machine. Okay, always remember that. This is my network. This is my subnet. Auto assign IP. Okay, I don't need to do that. This is something AWS related things. Okay, domain join directory. IAM role, right? Either I can create a role, but now since I have already one role created, I will select this. Okay, what is the shutdown behavior and other things, right? If you want to monitor. Okay, I'm just selecting next. Okay, now root volume. So Matillion needs, so it needs the minimum 50, minimum 40 GB of volume to be attached to that EC2 machine, right? So it will have, so the way our laptop has the storage, right? Hard disk kind of thing. So that EC2 machine, it will come up with the 40 GB of storage. Okay. And I'm adding some tags. Let's say owner Matillion, then security group. Okay, so either you can create the security group here. So right? So security group in Matillion is how you want to access your any instance, right? Okay, if you add anything here, whether you want to, if now specifically we need to access that over HTTP, right? Because if it's URL, it's always going to be an HTTP or HTTPS, right? So you can create a new security group here if you want, or if you want to use existing, we can use that as well. Okay. So for now, let's say new, and I'm giving permission on HTTPS, and as of now, I'm keeping the permission as open. Okay, so that means any IP can connect to my any public IP on internet can connect to my Matillion instance. Okay, usually this will handled by your cloud team. Okay, right, and the next step I need to do is review and launch. Okay, so if you see it is a T2 micro, I have opened the port on SSH and HTTPS. These are the instance detail, right? This is my VPC. Subnet will be selected. Okay, I have attached storage of 40 GB. Okay, anything here? Any doubt?
Yeah, as a like for example, we are using Matillion. We need to know right all these properties like configuration and all. Like no need to depend on other member, right? What do you say?
No, that is what, right? So in real world, in organizations, uh, you will have to reach out to your cloud team to launch that.
Okay, even cloud team also like they need to know these Matillion properties. How come they will be knowing?
Yeah, no, but what they will ask you is which AMI we need to launch. Okay, that is what they will ask you.
So we need to know like that is like for better understanding and for good hands-on. Like we need to know right every property. What is the use? Like what is why what needs to be choose and all everything clearly we need to know right.
Ye-
For example, like if you once you log in into any ETL tool, that properties you have to know. Like why it is connecting to. For example,
Correct.
if you take
Hmm.
Informatica, if like many stages are there,
Correct.
like you are
Correct.
using stage, you should know like
Correct.
everything, right? It is
Yeah.
using and all.
Yeah. So, yeah. Exactly. So if you see here, the properties is something. See this VPC and subnet. that will, that cloud team will tell you that which VPC we should select and which subnet you should select. Okay, we don't need to log in this.
Actually, values can be we are getting by cloud team or some other team, but
Correct.
uh, action can be like we should know, right? For what we need to do, like how it works and all. I mean,
Yes, yes, yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, that is what, right? So you will you will need a little bit of knowledge on the cloud part.
yeah,
Okay, not much, but right. If you see here, if you see real, right? So they will, select all these by default. They will tell you the role as well. They will tell you. Okay, you just need to tell them that you need access on S3, you need access on SNS. So they will create a role for you. Okay, and then they will tell you use this role, right? And rest all the things, they will be able to help you to launch. Okay, right?
okay.
Yeah,
I mean, actually,
and the
cloud,
security, yeah.
cloud properties we should know properly everything.
Yeah, right, right. I mean, no, you don't need to, go and do an expertise in that. Okay. So it is simple that they will just, basic of the things within the cloud. Okay. So on the security part as well, they will let you know like which security group to use. Okay. Yeah. So once you come to this screen, okay, simply we can click on launch. Okay, so this is just a key pair that we select. Okay, key pair, as you know, in AWS, right? It will help you to connect to that EC2 machine. So here, what we are doing, we're actually launching an EC2 machine, right? What if we need to log into that EC2 machine using putty, right? So we can use this key pair. Okay, so I'm selecting this one key pair here, and I'm just clicking on a launch instance. Okay, so currently it is launching. It is just pending. So if you see, this is my instance ID. Instance type is T2 micro. Okay, it has got launched in this availability zone. Okay, AP South 1A. Um, and yeah, if you see, this is the subnet, and this is the this is the VPC, and this is the subnet which it has got launched in, and this is the IAM role that we have selected. Okay, so if I click on that IAM role, I will see which all permissions that IAM role has, right? So for this IAM role, this policy is attached, and within that policy, right, it has RDS permission, it has SNS permission, right? Is at SQS permission and S3 permission, like this. So currently it is, yeah, it is in running state, but initializing the things. Just need to wait for a minute just to initialize. Now let me just show you how do we, connect to that, or how do we, log into that. Okay, yeah. So this Matillion MTL team, this is the instance that we just launched for the demo purpose, but we'll be working on this another instance, okay, MTL2 here during our exercise. Now let's say, uh, when uh, like launch this instance, okay, so just to log into that, what we need to do is we need to click on this open address, or just copy and paste this, and you can write this here. Okay, HTTPS, since it's a URL based, right? So you can log in this. Okay, even if you just click on open address, you will also do the same. Okay, what I'm doing, https:// this. Now if you see, this is an login page for Matillion. Okay, and it is asking for username and password. Okay, so what happens whenever you launch the Matillion instance, it comes with a one default user. Okay, so if you see, the default username is EC2-user, and the default password is the instance ID. Okay, so this is the instance ID, right? right? So this would be your default password when you launch for the first time, and you can change that later. Okay, um, right? So since I have already changed this, so I will log into this. I will log into Matillion now. Okay, so when you log into Matillion, this would be your first, you can say, first screen that would appear. Okay, and then you can log into anything, and you can build your jobs and see your jobs. Okay, like this. Okay, so this is how we can launch and log into Matillion. Okay, now what I want you is, so I have already configured the users. Okay, uh, which Azure have told me. So let me ping you the URL, and you can check, and you can check if you are able to log in. Okay, so as of now, let me see for whom I have created the users. Yeah, so I have created a user for Mohammed, Sudha, and Ramana. Okay, so let me ping you the URL here. Okay, so just check if this URL is accessible to you. Um, Everyone, just check if this URL is accessible to you. Yeah. Can you guys access that? If you can just confirm.
Uh, I can see the login page, but
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So who is this? So
Ramana.
yeah, Ramana. Yeah. Yeah. So Ramana. So your user is configured. So I have configured the users for Mohammed, Sudha, and Ramana. Because these were so you guys confirm about this. Um, okay. So what you can do to log into that, okay, you can use the email ID which you provided, okay,
Okay.
in smaller case, and try to log in. I will ping you the password. This is one common password, and I will let you know what to do to change the password. Okay, so use your email ID which you have provided to Azure, okay, uh, to log into that, and your password. So let me ping that in chat. So this is the common password which I have set. So I just pinged you in the chat. Okay. And once you log in, let me know once you log in. So, Sudha, are you able to log in?
Yeah, I'm trying, not it.
Okay, yeah. Just click on that URL. Use your email ID which you have provided in lowercase, and the password which I have pinged on the chat. So you should be able to log in. And once you log in, do let me know. So you will be on this screen. Is it?
Nitin, I am able to log in.
Okay, yeah, thanks for confirming. So you can see this Matillion CD, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, guys, what we'll do, okay, we'll just we'll just set up the project and environment. Okay, okay. Uh, so in Matillion, right? So your project is a kind of workspace area, right? Where you will have all your jobs and everything. Okay. Uh, So a project is a workspace area to build and manage your data integration pipelines. Okay. Again, the multiple projects can be grouped under a single project group. Okay. So how to do that is now what we follow usually, or what I follow during the training. So for each of you, you can create your own project. Okay, and you will need an Snowflake Snowflake account for that. So have you guys created a Snowflake account, free trial account?
No, as of now, I will get it created one.
Yes, so just go to Google and just type in Snowflake trial account. Okay, just click there and enter your these details. Yeah, maybe do you want to share your screen, Ramana? I can guide you so that everyone can see that. And others, I think I see Ramesh as well and Sudhir, right? So Ramesh and Sudhir, you guys can also create a Snowflake account.
Not able to log in this
Log into.
Matillion. Actually, I gave my email. It is not working.
Okay. Okay. Can you share your screen? We'll check that.
Where can I share my screen here?
Yeah. So at the top right, you would see the share screen option.
The top.
Yeah. We have that unmute video, our audio, share screen, and end the call. So there you have the share screen option on the blue jeans screen.
Disabled. It is disabled.
Okay, it is disabled for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think I need to make you a host then. It is Sudha, right? Okay. Um, yeah, I need to. So, Azhar, if you can, make other people a co-host so that they can share their screen. Yeah. Azhar, you there? Okay. Okay. For now, let me just share my screen and show you. So, so which email ID you are using? This one, right? GC, GCP Sudha 2021,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Okay. Okay. So, just wait. Let me just check with Azhar if we can make you the co-host. What Azhar is saying is anyone can share the screen. Okay. So is it the case with others? Maybe Ramana, can you confirm if you are able to share your screen, or Ramesh or Sudhir. Others are able to share your screen if you guys can confirm. Okay. Am I audible, guys?
Yeah, Nitin. Ramana here. So in my case, it is not grayed out. I think I should be able to share my screen. It's
Okay, yeah.
showing the
Yeah.
icon.
If you can try that, yeah, just you can just try and share.
Yeah, but seems that share icon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is at the top. If you go to blue jeans, yeah, yeah, I can see
Yeah,
your
yeah,
screen now.
I shared it.
Yes, yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah, yeah. So Sudha, I don't. Uh, so do you have the same issue, or if you can try joining one more time?
Yeah, I will rejoin. I will see.
Yes. So there is a button at the top, middle top. Okay,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
share
Like
your
when
screen.
I click on, actually, I could see four options:
Yeah,
people view, raise hand, share screen, and invite like that.
yeah, yeah.
Share screen is disabled for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Try to join one more time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, Ramana, like another still the time you can create your Snowflake trial account. Okay. So just go to that Snowflake trial and write your name, email ID, company. You can give any company name and just click continue there and select the you know uh, that basic version. Okay. I mean select the standard version from the Snowflake edition and select cloud provider as in AWS.
So the region should be APAC Mumbai, right?
Y-
AP.
Uh, yes. Yeah. Or let me share my screen one more time.
Yeah. For same thing, Nitesh. For me
Hmm.
also
What?
disabled share screen.
Uh, yeah. Who is this?
Sudhak.
Sudha, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me share my screen for a moment. And I will- Yeah. So just to create a Snowflake account, maybe if you can just go to Snowflake and type in Snowflake free trial and then enter your details here. Okay. Your name, email ID. Okay. And then select continue. And when you create Snowflake free trial, select a standard. Okay. Feature and then cloud provider. Let's say select an AWS and region as APAC Mumbai. It is like closest to us, right? So we can and just click on get started. Okay. Yeah. So meanwhile, if you can just create a Snowflake account.
Sure.
Yeah. It is visible currently because I'm sharing. Maybe that is the case.
Yes, it is visible. Just I saw. I'm
Okay.
able to
Yeah.
see you are trying for Snowflake.
Okay. Yeah. Just so I just stop sharing. You can try now. Are you able to share now?
Still not able to share.
Oh my God. Okay, I need to ask Azhar about that. Why people are not able to share? Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's create a Snowflake trial account. Yeah. Are you on this page, Ramana and everyone?
Yeah, I got the link from on
Yeah,
my email ID. Let
right,
me
right.
activate.
Yes, yes, yeah. Click on the activate. Um, Sudha, did you try this by on creating a Snowflake account?
Yeah, try Nitish.
Yeah, so select here standard AWS and region as Asia specific and just get started. You will get one activation link on your email which you have provided, and then click on activate, and on that email you will also have the your Snowflake URL. Okay, so that would be something like this. This is my URL, right? Okay, let me know once you guys are with me.
Yeah, Nitin, I got created the instance. Like I can see DemoDB, these schemas, Snowflake
Correct,
sample
correct.
data.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll use DemoDB and public schema only as a part of our this training session. Okay. Um, so once you do that, uh, you know, so now the next topic we'll mostly cover that tomorrow. But what we'll do next is we will set up the project and environment within the Matillion. Okay. So whichever the jobs that you need to develop. Okay, so everything can be developed within a project. Okay, and you can have multiple projects within a group. Okay, so probably so since we are on time now, so
Mhm.
we'll set up the projects and environment tomorrow. Okay. So any question till this? So what we have seen is we have started with Matillion what and why, right? So what exactly the Matillion is, like any other ETL tool. It's also an ETL tool which will help you to load and transform the data within the cloud data warehouse, right? And it has various features. It has various integrations and connectors. It provides you pay as you use model, right? It has platform specific product, right? The next we have seen what are the different product offerings which Matillion offers, right? So it has, as I said, it has platform dependent product. So it has the product for Matillion for Snowflake, Matillion for Redshift, Matillion for Google BigQuery and others, right? And having said that, why Matillion for Snowflake is popular because it can be launched in all of these three cloud platforms, right? It can launch in AWS, GCP or Azure, right? Uh, 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 in turn to that, if we want to launch Matillion for Redshift, you would be able to launch that only in AWS environment, right? Because AWS, GCP, and Azure, these are cloud competitors, and GCP cloud will not allow you to launch an launch an Matillion for Redshift in GCP. Okay. Now we have also seen about the Matlin architecture, how it look like. So it has one VPC. Within that we have a subnet, and then when we're launching in Matillion, we're actually launching an EC2 machine, right? So And to store its metadata, Matillion uses is public. It's a Postgre RDS database, which is getting used to store its internal information about the Matillion. Okay. Then it has connectors to various integrations, right? It can connect to S3 different various AWS services, and finally to a Snowflake, which is our cloud data warehouse. Okay. And lastly, what we have seen is um, uh, uh, you know how to launch the Matillion, right? So we launch Matillion through Matillion Hub, right? So once we log into that, we just need to click on Add Instance, and then we need to select which is our cloud provider, right? So let's say we want to launch that in AWS environment or AWS cloud platform, right? So we'll select AWS, and then we need to select the our cloud data warehouse, right? So we had selected the Snowflake as one, and then it will um, uh, redirect you to the AWS console, and from that you can launch the Matillion for Snowflake EC2 machine, right? So any question till this part? We'll go in more detail tomorrow about the project and all. Any question, anything you have doubt, or anything on this part? Okay. Yeah. So from tomorrow we will start our lab practices. Okay. So we will see each and every concepts in detail. So today's is just an overview of to just get familiar with Matillion, right, and why we are doing this. So tomorrow we'll see how to set up the projects and environments. How can we create our jobs, right? How can we load the data, let's say from S3 to Snowflake? So there are different scenarios that we'll be covering tomorrow. Okay. And so for practice as well, what we usually follow is since all of like us are working professional, right? So we agree upon some time daily. So there people can log into the same Matlin instance, and they can practice whatever they need. Okay. So we can decide that when to keep this instance on. Okay, we will decide in further sessions. Okay.
Yeah, like we can practice anytime, right? No worries, right? For lab.
Uh, yes, so there are ways. So what I prefer is um, uh, so we agree upon 2 to 3 hours window. So there people can practice. Okay, because as I said, right, so Matillion provides you in per second billing, right? Though it's a free trial for 14 days. Um, that is the one thing. The another thing is in the further session we will tell you that how can you launch your own instance. Okay, so for your practice. Okay.
That is
Yeah.
fine. Anyway, like once I get free trial, then
Yeah.
I can use like 24 hours.
Correct. Correct. Right. Exactly. Right. So, but just let this 2 3 session go on. So once these sessions are completed and once you're familiar that what to do, then I will let you know the another way to launch the Matillion trial account. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Anything?
Yeah, if you have any questions like after class also we can discuss with you, right? Like
Uh,
like
yes. So what we follow is for those guys who have confirmed for this session for the training, so we created one WhatsApp group. Okay. So once we create WhatsApp group, so you can post your questions or anything, and so I can answer based on my availability. Okay. So I hope like so you both are working professional, right?
yeah, just I would like to know about Nitesh, like about your experience and like actually like
Mhm.
you had already experience into how many years into Matillion and all.
Okay. Okay. So you were there for the demo?
I was not continuously was available.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so primarily in this data warehousing, analytics, and big data. So I have close to 10 years experience. And so I have worked on, enterprise level data warehousing projects. So I worked for different startups as well. Um, so I worked on different tools. So prior to this Matillion, so I worked with Informatica, I worked on Talent, um, and little bit of Tableau as a reporting tool. And with Matillion for Snowflake, so it's been now close to 3 years that I'm currently working in Matillion for Snowflake. So uh, now, so my guarantee is like once you finish this course, right? So you should be able to, design your jobs on your own, and you should to be, and you should do, should be able to do, or at least understand like what to use when, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So based on my prior trainings, right, which I have taken, so based on the feedbacks, so I keep improving, and yeah, so the feedback was pretty nice. I mean, you can check with Azhar or the course drill, and you can, if you want, you can connect with any other prior students or prior candidates, and you can take the feedback from them. Um, yeah, so as we go on, you should understand more and more in detail about the Matillion. Okay.
This is which batch actually, like already started, like number of batches.
So no, so just last week I finished one. Okay, so there we had close to 11 candidates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is the new batch we are starting. We are still waiting for a few peoples to confirm. Um, and yeah, so since these sessions are recorded, right? So you can go and you can watch at any time, right? So I preferred candidates to do that, right? So because if you go and watch this session again, right? So you would understand better,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Because I know that at the first go you will not understand much, right? But yeah, so if you again watch this session, I mean first one or two sessions, I would say, right? You would get to know, okay, exactly, okay, what all this actually need here. Okay, so and currently I'm working, on the same tech stack. So yeah, so currently the project migration projects and the different new scenarios are, we are building. Um, yeah, so whatever my, whatever the things, I mean, see, so whatever the things which I have, gained prior, working on this, right, in real time project. So I want to tell you that, okay, I'm not here to tell you, how to drag that component, and how to join the two tables with SQL queries, or how to do a join with an component, right? What I want you to give you, like, based on my experience, right? How things work in Matillion, what all issues you face, how to design the jobs in Matillion, right? Obviously, we will see all this practically as well. But yeah, right. So now Matlin has close to 60, 70 connectors. Okay, external connectors. So all of these, can't be covered, but we are covering, few connectors. And once you build the job with connectors, or with those connectors, the rest of the things are same. Okay, right? So the components or connectors are, like, pretty same in nature. It is just that your source is changing. Okay, let's say if you are connecting to Couchbase, you just need to give your Couchbase IP address. And the same way, if you need to connect to your database, you just need to give a JDBC endpoint. Okay, that's it. So rest of the functionality remains same. So I will try to cover as much possible as I can. And the importantly, the things which I have learned over my these last 3 years experience working on Matillion. So I will be able to tell you all these, tips and tricks, what all things you should know, right? Yeah. Any question, guys? Anything more? Okay, sure. Okay, let's meet tomorrow, same time, and we will start our lab practices from tomorrow. So we'll set up the jobs and project and everything from the scratch itself.
Yeah, Nitesh, I did not get access. Like, can I reach to Azharuddin or whom?
Yes, Sudha. Okay. Um,
Or else
no,
can I provide another email?
no, the access is I have already provided you. Okay, okay. Let me do one thing. Let me share my screen and try login using your configuration. Okay. This is your email, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm able to log in. You see, this is your user. Yes.
Yeah, I'll try
Yeah,
it actually on other
yeah,
laptop file.
yeah. So, and what you should do once you log in, okay. So, change your password. So, how can you do that? Is yes, I just cancel this. I go to project. There is an option called change my password. Enter your current password, new password, and new password. That's it. Okay, right? So, what you can do, Azhar, just I mean, sorry, Sudha. What you can do is, um, so I did ping the chat in the chat, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just go to that IP address and then the password. Okay. So password, you type in the password correctly, right?
Maybe my system problem. Maybe I will check
Yeah.
actually.
So what Azhar is mentioned. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just click on that URL once, which I have pinged in the chat, right? That https://65.2.144.110. Did you see the
Yeah.
Matillion screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So enter your email ID, right? And password as that, which I have pinged in the chat. Welcome, that is W capital @MTL.
Okay, I will try later. Actually, I will try other system. This
Sure,
will
sure.
not be.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can try tomorrow. And for the screen sharing, what Azhar is mentioning, so download the BlueJeans software
Yeah, yeah.
from the from the Google, and then we can try tomorrow. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye. See you tomorrow.